Well, it's a beautiful winter's day at Sydney's Eastern Creek Raceway. We're about halfway through the Dial Before You Dig Australian 6-hour with thanks to the Shannon's Nationals, or part of the Shannon's Nationals. Well, Aaron McGill has been leading the charge behind the scenes in the Australian Manufacturers Championship this year. We spoke to him earlier on about organising and getting this race together.
It's been a long road to muster everybody and get everyone going in the right direction, which I think we've achieved that now. As you can see, there's a good field of cars, the racing is great, and everybody's quite happy to be here.
The Australian Manufacturers Championship has a rich history from the production car days.
Yeah, well, it dates back obviously to the early 70s when we were all a bit younger, and I can remember, as most people can, black and white shots of GDHO Falcons and the names of Moffat and Bond and Brock and so on and so forth. And that's where the larger, faster cars were tripping over Minis and Mazdas and Toyota Corollas. So we're trying to reinvent that and re-establish it, if that's the right description, in Australian motorsport.
And we've got that this weekend with the Evos outclassing the Minis.
Yeah, there's a lot of the guys who are not in Evo saying, oh, they're too fast, but I mean, it's always been the way with production car racing, whether it be the GT Falcons or Tirana L34s that were out years ago. They dominated, and it's just manufacturers will build a better mousetrap and then everyone's got to catch up. That's just how it is. It's always been that way.
There's Aaron McGill running the Australian Manufacturers Championship this year. Richard Craill and Marcus Zekanovic back with you now as we continue to work our way through this 6-hour endurance race for Australian Manufacturers Championship cars. Marcus, welcome back to you. Thoughts on this one so far as we see dramas for a very sick-sounding number 29 car?
Doesn't look good. It's been puffing a bit of smoke through these last couple of laps, so let's hope it is not a terminal and ends their race.
Well, it didn't sound good passing the main grandstand last time round, so that car from third place, this could be one of the big dramas in the motor race so far, and they're having trouble getting the boot open as well. So Team VIP Pet Foods have got some work to do. Gee, really battling here.
Wonder what's going on there. Must be stuck of some sort. Let's hope they get that rectified.
Oh, and look, he's got the keys out the window, so they needed the keys to get the boot open to get in there to put some fuel in it. Well, that's a drama. That proves it's a production car race.
Definitely does. Definitely does prove it's a production car.
The car from 5th place overall and 5th in the Bendix High Performance All-Wheel Drive class pits. Gavin Bullis jumping out, Barton Moore jumping in. Great combination that, and they've finally got the boot open. So they'll put fuel in, but I suspect this car's got some bigger dramas than just an empty fuel tank. Did not sound good. Hey, that combination of the Subaru, that's a seriously good driver lineup.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, but let's hope they can keep it right in there with Barton and Gavin. They're both, very well great drivers, and hopefully they can get a decent result.
So the Evo 9 from Team VIP Pet Foods leaves pit lane. I wonder if they've managed to rectify whatever the dramas were. Let's have a listen to the 21 car. This is Chris Delsner, Dean Neville, and the BFGT. I tell you what, Marcus, you could hear tyres squealing through turn 9 there. I wonder if that sort of sums up part of the problems they've been having with right rear tyres.
Definitely the way the tyres are squealing obviously is going to have a big effect on them blowing, and obviously the problem that they're having with the right rear. But that looked like it was coming from the front, which obviously indicates a little bit of understeer. But with every action there's a reaction. Bit of understeer will then snap into a bit of oversteer, and hence the right rear tyre having issues. Yeah, some fair underlining issues to that car, I think, as the number 4 car hits pit lane. The local team, Jim Policina and his outfit, running a good ship, a very reliable team. Not quite with the outright pace of the Evo 10s, but they're chipping away at it over the course of the race and running 6 overall as they make a scheduled pit stop. Fuel goes in, and a driver change as well. Nice and casual there. So let's hope they don't need the keys to get in the boot for this one.
We'll follow that story up with Team VIP, but it certainly didn't look great. Oh, and they're back in pit lane as well.
So they're still holding up the pace, but the drivers are doing their job on tyre conservation.
Oh yeah, look, I mean, not a problem at all. I mean, it's incredible to see the lap times at 45s, and I mean, the fuel consumption is dropped by a third. The good drivers just get into a rhythm, and I mean, the car just floats and flows, and they don't hurt anything at all. It just keeps going and going and going. And with Stewie and Warren, they're exceptional. With what they can do. I mean, they're well practiced at it, and they're both very good drivers, and like I said, they're out there cruising around. The car stays together and keep the tyres on, it should be fine.
As we saw the VIP car back in pit lane. As far as team managers go, that's a very confident sounding Alan Heafy talking to Julian Hemming.
And why shouldn't he? His boys are doing a great job, and that car is really going a treat at the moment.
So they're leading the race by a pretty handy buffer now. The West Surfing Products TMR car. A remarkable operation, aren't they? Such reliability, performance, the whole package, really.
They definitely got proven results, and I mean, like the result from the 12 hours and all that sort of stuff. The cars are great, and Alan runs a great operation down there, and yeah, definitely very hard to beat.
Side-by-side position down towards turn 1, and that was for second place. Conroy and Tulloch dicing, and Tulloch's taken that position away from the Hankook Tyres car, but we spoke about the Conroy Motorsport entry earlier on, and they were running down in sort of 7th or 8th. It shows how in this endurance format, if you chip away at it, you're going to get up there. All of a sudden, they're 3rd.
Doing a great job, like you said before. Being a quiet achiever, just keep your same pace, keep your consistency, and the results will come. And it's showing here. Currently sitting at 3rd. It's a great effort.
This stage of the race, right in the middle of a 6-hour endurance event, this has got to be when, as a driver, your concentration's the most important, surely.
Yeah, you just want to keep the car out of trouble, really. Like we touched on before with, lap traffic and slower cars and the speed differential, you really want to keep your wits about you and just keep the car clean, because you want to get it to that last half an hour where you put fresh tyres on and really sprint it to the finish for a great run.
It's just another look at that pass for second place. Pretty straightforward, but looked to me like the 11 car just got a very good run out the final corner, and it was all straight line horsepower from there.
Pretty much did get a good run, and it shows got a good run, sat in the draft, but I don't think the Conroy car made it too difficult. Hence, he understands he's got another 3 hours left.
Yeah, exactly right. Why would you fight for it at this stage when you can live to fight another day? As the Lehman Kirkham entry pits, and the 28 car back in as well for a tyre change, and the GWS team will go to work. Gary Manell and the on-track motorsport boys, and another flat right rear tyre by the looks of it for the 21 car.
These guys are not having a good day with tyres. Obviously, the car is quite hard on setup, or for whatever reason, and as you see, get a little bit loose. They're trying to go around the left-hander. That just sums up as to how the rear tyre is just copying punishment. The minute he tried to turn left there, the back of the car just skated out with a flat tyre. So,
by the looks of it, that happened at a pretty hairy place, a fairly high-speed place through sort of turn 6 around the back of Eastern Creek.
On a slow part or a fast part, you definitely don't want a flat rear tyre,
regardless of the speed of the corner. So here it is. Oh, gee, the Policina car just managed to get around the outside. Not much control when you've got 3 wheels on your wagon.
No, and you can definitely see it's a tough day.
Well, these endurance races, they just throw everything at some teams, don't they? And you, even, as hard as you try, you can just not get a clear run, and it just throws everything at you, and you've just got to try and persist and get to the finish. As we'll see another pit stop. The Class B car still going in pit lane as the BFGT works its way back into the lane. Finally, very slow inlet for them. And they'll go to work and try and get that car serviced and back out, and hopefully they can go a little bit longer than an hour and a half on a set of tyres. Let's go down to the lane. Pete O'Donnell's just jumped out of the BMW. I think he'll be pretty happy with his stint.
Well, Peter, everyone's talking up the Evos, but you're in a car with a pretty good pedigree. Are you the dark horse?
Well, look, I think the strategy at this stage is we've probably got one less stop than the other guys, than the Evos, and hopefully we can keep the pace up. I mean, the track is really hard on tyres today. Our tyres were going off, halfway through the sessions, so you're really struggling for grip. But I think everyone's in the same boat with that, so look, we'll just see how it plays out.
And I think when you're in that kind of position, especially when you've got a pit stop up your sleeve, at this stage of the race, I think you've got every right to feel reasonably happy about how your day's going.
You do, definitely, and like they said, one short, one less pit stop. If they can just nurse those tyres on these hot, these warmer conditions, even though it is a winter's day, which is fantastic at Eastern Creek here, but if they can just, nurse those tyres, one less stop, to hopefully get them to run to the end.
It might bump them up the order, because a stop here worth probably a minute and a half. We're on board with the Allen East Motorsport, David and Deswall Lancer. Let's have a listen as we go for a ride around Eastern Creek Raceway. Marcus, this looks like a car that's pretty well behaved at the moment.
It is very well behaved. It is not moving around at all. It sounds very sweet, and the lines look really good. It just sounds like they're having a great run at the moment.
Another one of those combinations with such a strong lineup. David Wall, of course, his career blossoming at the moment. He's got V8 Supercar Endurance drives coming up, but his old man's no slouch either. Multiple Australian sports sedan champion, raced all sorts of GT cars as well, and it just proves how important it is to have that strong two-driver lineup as we head back down to the lane and catch up with a very excited Christian de Gostin.
Yeah, we've sort of trying to get ourselves back in the race after fixing the fuel pump, so hopefully it's still a long way to go, not even halfway yet, or just gone halfway, so we're hanging in there. There's only about 3 or 4 cars we've got to get in front of, so I think here comes the car now, so I've got to get going.
Yeah, that was Christian there, and they're looking like they're getting ready to do another pit stop here, and yeah, just touch back on what you're talking about there before, Richard. Obviously the Wall family, you know, they've been in motorsport a very long time, and you know, definitely a lot of accolades in that family, and there's probably a few more to come, no doubt, with young Dave himself. So no, it's a good result thus far. Let's hope they can bring it home.
Yeah, that Evo team really looking for a result. Gilly picked the time to interview Christian, didn't he? Right in the preparations for his pit stop. Good quick chat. He's always good for a quote, Christian de Gostin.
He loves a chat, old Christian, doesn't he?
Here's the car going very nicely in Class C, waging a lone hand against the Mazdas, the turbocharged front-wheel drive cars, the rear-wheel drive BMW 130is. We go back down to a very busy pit lane. Here's Steve Briffer.
So how's it going for you today, Steve?
Yeah, not too bad. We're going okay. We've got some hard tyres on the car, which has slowed our pace up a little. But in all, we're sort of setting a bit of a pace towards the end of the race, hoping our tyres will hold in towards the end and maybe not do too many driver changes, too many tyre changes. So
Steve just jumped out of that car. They're looking for economy of tyres as well here at Eastern Creek today.
Definitely a tough job of trying to find economy in the big runty HSV.
Yeah. You'd know all about that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's quite difficult.
As they run down to turn 9, there's the Walls. We saw some great pictures from them. And there's the Cherry Crimp car, Glen Crimp, Mr. West Surfing Products. And he's really putting his money where his mouth is and backing motorsport as they come through. Matt Cherry, great young find out of state-level racing in WA. And he's been the 3rd fastest of the TMR drivers all weekend long, behind Stuart Costera and Warren Luff. So when you've got guys the calibre of Inky Tulloch in your team, that's a very impressive accolade to have.
Definitely. That's, like we said before, they're doing a great job, and you know.
Oh no! Oh, dramas. I tell you what, curse the commentator, because we were just talking them up, Marcus.
Oh,
the 38 car in pit lane with dramas. We'll take a break and find out what they are when we come back. As the Dial Before You Dig Australian 6-hour continues as part of the Shannon's Nationals at Eastern Creek Raceway. Dramas for the Allen East Motorsport crew. We saw them come in with 3 wheels before the break, and it looks like, Marcus Zakanovic, they've sheared the wheel studs off that car.
And on the right-hand front wheel too, which is probably explains as to why the broken wheel studs. It is probably the hardest working wheel on the Evos themselves. So.
And speaking of right fronts on the 31 car, and they've spent a lot of time in the lane today.
The tyres, I don't know what's wrong with the tyres this today, you know. It's just they keep seeming to go flat or popping. It seems to be a running consensus along these cars at the moment.
Well, we're 5 hours into this motor race, so things are starting to get tired. Things are starting to perhaps get a little bit brittle and fragile. We can see the Wall car back out on the racetrack, but they've lost a stack of time and plummeted right to the back end of the top 10. What a crushing blow after such a strong run. And we were talking them up as well, so we might have to take some responsibility for that. But such a crushing blow to have that happen to you.
Oh, it's not a good feeling anytime you have anything go wrong. I mean, even the minus the spins that we've seen some of the other cars earlier, even that's a bit of an ego deflate, you know. And right at this late stage of the race, you really want to try and keep, you know, like we said before, consistent, and obviously broken wheel studs is not a good thing for consistency.
Not at all, especially when your wheel separates at a track where the average speed's well over 100 k's an hour for a lap. I mean, this is a fast racetrack in Australia, and high average speeds, high load, fast corners. So any track you don't want a wheel to disappear, but this place least of all.
Well, Well, not any track. I mean, we quite like to drive a car with 4 wheels, not with 3. And yeah, it's just great to see them back out there. Though that just shows good testament to the crews and how hard they work and how much everybody works to get the car back out.
I knew what I was trying to say there. It just didn't quite work. Anyway, race leaders come into the pits. They've got a couple of lap buffer now over the field, so this should be a pretty stress-free pit stop for Stuart Costera and Warren Luff. Warren Luff jumping in. I can tell that because he's got a big W on his helmet, and he'll be looking forward to another stint. A man who's got a quite varied career, driver, trainer, race car driver, a bit of a journo as well for one of the well-known magazines in Australia. So a man with many hats, but very, very capable race car driver.
He's definitely very good behind the wheel, hence his his enduro commitments to DJR. So I'm sure Dick Johnson wouldn't choose a driver that wasn't capable.
You'd have to think that a strong run here would put him in to run with a James Courtney, perhaps in a leading car at Dick Johnson Racing in the Enduros, as we see the Hankook Tyres car, DBA Australia on the side there as well. Another quick, efficient pit stop from TMR Australia. One thing we do need to talk about, there has not been a safety car yet. We're 5 and a bit hours into this race, no safety cars.
I can't believe that. That's just great. That really is credit to all these guys out there and to the crews even to keep the cars running for this long, to the point where there's no car stopping on track where we need a safety car.
I guess when it's your day though, as we see the second of the West cars pit. A great look from inside the TMR bunker. Cool shot that. I guess it's your day, because ordinarily a wheel falling off a car might spear something off into the wall or cause all sorts of dramas, but no safety car for that either.
Amazing how we haven't had a safety car. It's definitely different. I mean, I don't think I've been in a race where I haven't had safety car, and especially in enduro stuff.
Yeah, especially something this distance. I mean, this team's another one that's had some dramas. Christian de Gostin and Steve Briffer, they've spent some time in the garage in the bunker. They're back out on the racetrack though. Steve Briffer, a long-time competitor in the Australian production car ranks, and I don't think he enjoys anything more than getting the big HSV and mixing it up with the four-wheel drive turbos. I don't know, that's something you get a bit of pleasure out of as well.
It's definitely a great feeling, and to drive one of these cars, I had the pleasure to drive with Steve at the 12-hour last year, and Steve presents this car immaculately. It's a beautiful looking car, and they're doing a great job. Obviously a few little gremlins have set them back today, but it's a great effort to still be out there anyway.
And as we heard from Brisbane before, struggling for pace on their harder compound tyre they've picked, but I guess that's a bit of a gamble for this race, isn't it? You've got to decide the right compound tyre for you, and you might need to sacrifice a second or two a lap for a bit more longevity over the course of a race.
It's just that choice you have to make. You either want outright speed, where you'd be doing 2 or 3 more pit stops to put more tyres on, or you choose a harder compound tyre. You may be a little bit slower, but you're going to be there at the end.
And how good was that shot? A little Renault Clio 197 passing a BF GT Falcon. That's what I love about production car racing.
Anything's possible.
It is, isn't it? No doubt. And here it is. The battle continues. So second in Class D at the moment, the safety stop Renault, with help from On Track Motorsport and the R-Sport crew. We've seen a bit of them today with the bright silver Renault Clio. Renault also jumping on board to support the event. They provided a brand new Renault Sport Clio 200 as the official course car, which was used over the course of the weekend, and got quite a few admiring looks from people up and down pit lane. Another Class D car in the lane now. Jake Williams handing over to Lauren Gray, running in Class D. Little Toyota Corolla Sportivo. Very reliable car, completed all of Bathurst and all 4 races, 1-hour races held in the Manufacturers' Championship so far this year without one issue.
Toyotas, great little car. You just can't kill them. As much as you try, you just can't seem to hurt them. So no, it's good to see them keep going around and around.
And the Class D battle has been ferocious this weekend. Actually, I think it's probably been the most competitive class, because we've seen the 2 Renaults, we've seen the Mini, we've seen the Toyota Corolla Sportivo, the Honda Integra Ute that we've got running now, minus its front glass and its rear hatchback, and the Holden Astra, which is just ploughing around with Gary Holt behind the wheel and Ryan McLeod as the Polachina car goes round. They won't lose their 7th position out of that. But it's great to see the smaller car class really going well.
And to touch back on that smaller class, we haven't really seen much of the Astra, because it's been doing a rather great job. It's actually been going, quite well, and even giving the Summers C-Class cars a bit of a run for their money.
Well, it's in front of most of them. Now, flash of the lights there from Stuart Costera, bit of a flash to the Briffer Commodore, saying, "Would you kindly please remove yourself from my path?" as he tries to put him a lap down.
Wouldn't that be great if that actually worked in sprint racing too?
I don't think it does when you're on the same lap and dicing hard for position.
No, wishful thinking though.
You wouldn't have done that during any of your Ute championships or your Commodore Cup championships, surely?
Oh, I flashed the headlights a few times, but
did it work?
No.
So the Neville and Delsma car continues to circulate, and I guess the biggest question for them is, will they continue to have tyre dramas? They'll certainly be hoping just to get to the finish trouble-free, as we see a classic Holden versus Ford battle with a bit of a premium edge because it's Holden Special Vehicles versus FPV.
Good to see, great to see them both having a bit of a dice, but I'm not sure they're in race sequence because obviously the tyre issues that Car 21's been having, but definitely is great for Australian motorsport. Ford versus Holden, it's always a great thing.
We saw dramas before for the David and Des Wall Mitsubishi Lancer. Mark Fletcher's been down in pit lane finding out a little bit more about those dramas.
Okay, when it comes to the nitty-gritty, when things go wrong, you need your team behind you. Darren, mate, what a work of art what you just performed.
Mate, you got to do what you got to do as fast as you can.
Okay, it was a few minutes work. Just explain what you did.
Mate, we just looked at it. You can always see what's wrong with it as it comes in. You just just attack it. And then you work your way through it as you're doing it. If you see more, you go in all further. But just attack.
I can just see the sheer determination on your faces. You've got to get this thing back out on the track again. And it wasn't real cool either, was it?
No, it was pretty warm, but like we're all work as a team. Everyone knows what's going on. Everyone's there to help. So as you work as a team, it just flows. And I don't know how long that took. It didn't take that long at all, I don't think. So it's good.
Mate, you know your way around the Mitsubishi product. And speaking of which, the car is performing well?
Yeah, no, it's been going well. Like a little bit more pace, like everyone. But no, going well. That's a bit of a setback, but a bit of adrenaline rush too. That's good though.
Mate, what would have caused that?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's the first time it's ever happened to us. So, what do you do?
It can happen to the best.
Yes, can happen to the best.
Can happen to the best team, mate. Good on you, Darren. I'll let you go and have a rest, mate.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, bud.
Well, Crowley, we got to actually see a quick glimpse of the car right up close there, and we saw a broken rotor hat as well. So it's obviously sustained a bit more damage when they brought that car back into pit lane.
Yeah, massive dramas, and what an awesome job to turn that around. Speaking of dramas,
let me guess, can I put $5 down on the bet?
I'm not going to take that bet because I guarantee you it's a flat right rear tyre.
It is indeed.
I'm sorry, Marcus. I'm not that much of a betting man. So Delsma and Neville, gee, they are in the wars today. They just keep persisting, don't they? And great spirit to keep going on the racetrack and keep persisting and keep circulating. But this car just chewing its tyres.
As we'll see on board again with the wall car, let's have a bit of a listen and watch, see if the lines are still smooth after the repair of the wheel.
Looks good to me.
It does look good to me too, Richie.
Great job. Awesome job to get that car fixed.
Oh, just have a wipe at the mirror there.
Why not? He's got plenty of time. Chris Delsma back in the seat now. Dramas, fuel spill. This is for the Subaru, the Jim Hunter car. I will guarantee you that will award them a pit stop drive-through penalty. And there's been a few of those today. So dramas for the Subaru, dramas for the BF GT Falcon as well. We've sent our pit reporting team to find out more about that. Let's go down to pit lane.
Okay, Blair, the Century 21 Falcon, 3 times in a row. Puncture problems. What's the verdict, Blair?
Well, there's a little bit of bodywork under there, but we're not too convinced that that's the cause of the problem. We think that occurred after the first blowout. We've just got a lot of weight on the right-hand tyres on this car. We came into the race worrying about the front right. It's a rear right that's giving us all the grief. We've got one tyre to go. We've got an hour and a half, so we're just hoping we'll get home.
Cross your fingers and hope for the last hour and a half of the race.
Let's hope so. I mean, they've put 3 tyres on now. What's one more to get them home?
Confirmation of your running order across the bottom of your screen now. Tulloch is second. Conroy and Brame up to 3rd place, so they've had a great run as one of the Osborne Motorsport cars, the Colin Osborne Rick Bates entry, makes another pit stop. Now, we saw fuel issues from this car just before with Gavin Bullis and Barton Moore sharing the driving duties. What would cause something like that?
Possibly could be a bit of a seal, in the quick filler, the fuel rig there, like the seals as you press the the neck into the the handle into the neck of the car. It might not have closed seal properly and still pumped a bit of fuel out. That's usually the issue with the fuel spillage like that.
And as we spoke about earlier, it's those 1%ers across the course of a race like this that can change your final finishing position and can cost you quite a lot.
It can indeed with, let's just hope they don't get a drive-through penalty for, the spilt fuel.
Slow stop for Osborne Motorsport. Looking solid in third place in Class C at the moment. The 25 Donut King HSV's a car that's had some issues today. No issues for the Lauren Gray Motorsport Corolla behind them, though, running very soundly in fourth at the moment in Class D.
Still Corolling along.
Oh, you've brought your A game today. As our leaders come through, let's go down to pit lane, have a chat to the former president of CAMS, Colin Osborne, about that slow pit stop we've just seen.
Colin, the look on your face, mate, I could write a book of 1,000 words. How are you feeling?
Yeah, we've worked really hard on the track today, and it looks like we've just had a glitch in the pits, and that will make it pretty hard to get home from here.
Has the Mazda been pretty good throughout the day?
Yeah, it's been really reliable. It's it's gone very, very well. The brakes are good. It's used its tyres pretty well. In fact, the tyre wear has been better than we thought it would be. We haven't got quite the pace of some of the other cars, but had everything gone to schedule in terms of pit stops and one thing and another, we would have probably got it just right, and we would have been knocking on the door at the end, I think, but that little problem here, I think, might have made it a bit difficult for the rest of the day.
Well, one of those things in endurance racing. They will continue to pound around. They're running third in class, so if they can get to the finish, at least they're going to get a podium.
Well, at least they're still, still running around. Some of these other cars are, doing a little bit more tough than what these guys are doing. So it's good to see.
Now, this is a very slow stop for the Donut King car. Tony Alford, Mr. Donut King himself, a hugely passionate motorsport fan, and Barry Nesbitt, very experienced in HSV driving, in particular in GTP and production car racing. They've had all sorts of dramas there sitting in the lane. As again we see the fast cars working their way through some lap traffic. And we were speaking before about the level of respect that the lower class cars, I guess, have shown. This is the first look we've seen of this for a while. Gary Holt out of the car, Ryan McLeod in.
Yeah, it's great to see the Astra, It's radio plug looks a bit stuck there. Quick, unplug me.
Slight pit stop drama there. What a combination though, Holt and McLeod. They've been pounding around and they're hovering around the outside of the top 10, just outside.
Doing a fantastic job, That Astra's a great little car, and they're doing a, great crew and everything like that. It definitely shows, They're even giving some of these C-class guys a bit of a run for their money.
In fact, up inside 8th place at the moment, and they're ahead of all of the Class C cars, including this one, the Jake Camilleri car, which had some dramas earlier on. They actually broke a gear shifter and a really quick pit stop. So they're on the comeback trail now, dicing with the BMW.
Wow, broken gear shifter. That's, it's not something you hear a lot of, but, I guess maybe with qualifying mode, they've given a little bit too much harder time, and it's obviously broken the shift. But, good to see them back out in the track and, running well.
Yeah, really the kind of drama you don't need in a motor race is to find yourself changing gear and having nothing happen down your left-hand side.
No, you usually need that stick there to help you propel the car along.
Yeah, but mighty job from that crew to get it fixed, though.
It is a great job. I'm sure it wouldn't be an easy job on the car itself to get to the, you get to the shift. You have to remove all the console and stuff to try and get in there and change it. Definitely a great job.
And they're working their way back into class contention. Gary Manell, team manager down there. Now, this is 27 car unlapping himself. Garth Duffy behind the wheel. He's done some Commodore Cup racing the opening few rounds of the 2010 season with the Accent Racing team. Very, very impressive in his debut. The battle for 10th and 11th place now on the same lap. And this should be on for young and old across the course of it as we see a replay here.
Nice and clean, very smooth. No contact there.
Let's go down to pit lane. Here is production car champion, Gary Holt.
How you going this afternoon, Gary?
Well, mate, we're going really good. The car's just absolutely perfect. The only problem is tyres, but I think everyone's got that situation. But we came here to win Class D and keep ahead in the championship, so hopefully Ryan can bring it home. But to be in front of Class C and second, we'd be second in Class B at the moment, so I think we're 8th outright, so it's a real good showing for Holden, mate.
Yeah, that car, a real giant killer here today, Marcus, at Eastern Creek Raceway.
It's doing a great job, but one thing that's I wonder how Gary's taking the power decrease from the BMW from the 12 hour to the little Astra.
Oh, I tell you what, he's going 3 wide. No shortage of horsepower there. How about that? Lapping his class rivals, Ryan McLeod behind the wheel, 3 wide.
Not scared at all. That was great move, straight down the middle. The Astra looked a treat right there.
And Paul Morris was actually scheduled to co-drive this car this weekend. They were going to run 3 drivers, but it was a late minute withdrawal before the start of this. Fires up the inside of the HSV.
Unbelievable. HSV, he's doing a great job, this little Astra. Amazing car.
The entrepreneurial Gary Holt Eastern Creek carts up the side, and new sponsorship from Triple M as well this weekend. So great support, Racer Industries and Ryan McLeod. I think they've got half the Sirame Wines V8 supercar team in pit lane as well, so you'd expect their pit lane stuff to go well. We're going to take our final break from the dial before you dig Australian 6 hour at Eastern Creek. When we come back, the conclusion, the checkered flag and all the podium celebrations. We're back, the final flourish in the dial before you dig. Australian 6 hour, 163 laps into this one, hour 6, and getting towards that all-important finishing position. Stuart Costera and Warren Luff still lead it. There's some relaxed people in pit lane, but the tension's still there underlining as we get towards the end of this race. What a race it's been so far. So much going on. Pit lane's been very busy. And still plenty of stories to tell, you think. Richard Craill with you, Marcus Zucanovic gone on the break. Dave Knoll has jumped back in. And DC, it's been interesting so far. I wonder what's going to happen over this last hour, this last sprint to the flag.
Well, the most amazing thing, and I know you guys touched on that, there's been no safety cars whatsoever. It's an indication of great driving, great race control, and I think just a little bit of sensibility on the part of the drivers to go out and keep each other nice and clean.
The Briffett Smash Repairs team back in pit lane. Christian de Goston looks like he's going to jump out of that car. Steve Briffett will jump in. No huge rush there. Just consolidating their position now and just really going through the motions to make sure they get to the finish. And when you get to this stage in the race, when you've had such a tough day, so many things going wrong, so many little issues, you really just want to finish, don't you?
You certainly do. And the other thing all of the drivers will have to contend with now, Richard, is the fact that we are coming down the main straight, heading into the setting sun. There's going to be an issue with a lot of sun glare.
I feel for Terry Conroy aboard the Honda with no front windscreen and no rear windscreen. He's going to have a huge challenge as the Class D car, the safety stop Renault Clio, they've had a fantastic day. What a great run. And I think with more Renaults coming on scene, with R Sports involvement, Renault Australia very keenly involved. As we mentioned earlier, they had Bob Watson helping unveil the cars earlier in the weekend, the 1970 Australian Rally champion.
Have a look at the smoke coming off the front of the Conroy Integra.
I'm more concerned about the lack of a windscreen. Here's John Bowe. So JB Pitts, the BMW, running up inside the top 5. His last stint, he's driven exceptionally well today. A pat on the side for Peter O'Donnell. He will jump in the car and see this thing through. Have a look at the smoke coming from that right front wheel. How hard are they working these brakes?
It shows you the bias they have in regards to go around the circuit. Everything leaning on the front of the car. There's one frazzled Carl Shrembry.
Good run from him, though.
Yeah.
A very, very competitive run. And he's got that little Renault up in 3rd place behind the Honda and that all-conquering Holden Astra that we saw before. Dominating the class, Dave, as we see the Renault leave its pit bay and go back out onto the racetrack.
Yeah, it's been running like a tractor all day, this car, hasn't it?
Yeah, so reliable, very, very quick. Adjust the mirror, no problems, get yourself settled in. He is perhaps one of the standout performers, though. Aside from our race leaders who are dominating this race, they're up by over 2 laps. In their class, Gary Holt and Ryan McLeod have just been unbelievably good.
Coming out of pit lane. Don't cross the blend line until you're sort of a little bit out, as we watch one of the Evos go past. It's been a bit of a controversial thing in certain races, especially the F1 GP in Melbourne. If you cross the line too quickly, you get picked up for a black flag. These guys seem to have taken that on board, come out nice and clean. As we watch the Evo 10 accelerate out, it shows the all-wheel drive as opposed to front-wheel drive, doesn't it?
Sure does. Now, by comparison, what we're looking at here is a Class D Holden Astra chasing down the C-Class Mazda 3 MPS and giving absolutely nothing away. And it's in front of all of the C-Class cars. It's running 8th overall. A massive outfit, a massive performance, I should say, today And what it'll do for Gary Holt, if they can finish where they are, is that it will maintain his Australian manufacturer's points lead, which is the reason why he put this deal together. He wanted to maintain his position in the overall championship, which is a very important thing to him. He's won a GTP title and 2 production car titles. He'd very much like another one, and despite getting rid of the BMW, you still score outright points, even if you're racing in one of the lower classes. So that's what he's here for. Let's have a listen to the Holden Astra work its way around Eastern Creek.
Nice confined workspace in the Astra. We see another driver change now in pit lane.
The leading car, Dave.
This is Costera and Warren Luff, both very experienced campaigners.
Luff out, Costera in. This will be their final driver change. Full tank of juice going in. They're getting about an hour and 10, hour and 15 out of a tank in the Evos in this race, which is probably a little bit longer than anyone expected. The BMW has still managed to save, though, 1 full pit stop up its sleeve in terms of fuel economy compared to the Evo Lancers. That's how efficient it is.
There was a pre-race discussion, was an expectation of around an hour or so from a full racing tank, and as you said, they've managed to extend that by around 15 or 20 minutes, which has been good news for them, but still, also, as you mentioned, have to contend with that BMW with that extra stop up their sleeves. Hello, is this a problem here?
No, just on board with Richard Gartner in the Renault Clio, just getting passed by the Policina Motorsport four-wheel drive turbo.
Just watching, like you might have had a gearbox full of marbles. I think we're going to make down to have a chat to Warren Luff.
Warren, you'd have to be a happy bloke, mate, because you've been a front runner most of the day, mate. So what's the feeling like?
Yeah, look, it's very good, but obviously this is where it starts to get down to the nitty-gritty. It's obviously it's right down towards the flag now. So look, we've got a really good lead, and Stu knows what he's doing out there. He's been doing a fantastic job all day. So it's just from here, it's just a case of nurse it to the finish line, and hopefully that's going to be enough.
That whole nursing it to the finish line philosophy, isn't it? You've got to get there in the first place, as we see some dicing between 2, in theory, identical cars, the 2 Mazda 3s. Car 3rd in class being chased down by the car 2nd, and that's the Camilleri Grand Prix Mazda car. And they're dicing pretty hard. This isn't really for position either, I wouldn't have thought.
No, they're certainly pushing very hard, considering we're coming up towards the end of this race. We're inside the 5th hour, well and truly. Oh, a little bit of a touch as they hit on the ripple strip down at turn 2. Managed to come out nice and clean, just sliding back a little bit now, the number 36 car. Camilleri and Nicholas doing not a bad job at all.
Yeah, Scotty Nicholas has been good as he goes up the inside into turn 4. Good place to make a pass. Nice, and now Camilleri will go out after the class leader, after the dramas early on, seeking out and chasing down the BMW for the lead of the class. So within the last hour of the motor race, we could yet have Class C up for grabs as the second place car hits pit lane. Inky Tulloch, Steve Jones have done a great job today.
Yeah, you can just see there was a bit of a touch somewhere early in the race too, at the right front of that car, the big tyre mark on the bumper. Obviously not enough to have done any serious damage. A lot of smoke again from those brakes, a great indication of just how much punishment they've been taking around this circuit here at Eastern Creek. The Dial Before You Dig Australian 6 hour. Glenn Crimp and Cherry car going around. A little bit of smoke on the acceleration there, Rich.
Yeah, I'm not too sure that's too much of an issue. They're just cruising around. Matt Cherry's been impressive today, really impressive. He's on the charge towards the end of this race. In fact, he's hunting down the O'Donnell Bow BMW towards the end, looking for a top 4 position and try and give Mitsubishi Lancers the Quinella here at Eastern Creek. In the inaugural Dial Before You Dig Australian 6 hour, we should also acknowledge the support of Shannon's Insurance for their support of the Shannon's National Motor Racing Series. Don't forget, next round coming up at Morgan Park on the 14th and 15th of August. And also Bendix for getting on board Class A and sponsoring the high-performance all-wheel drive class.
Drag race down the main straight here. You can see the HSV just having to brake a little bit earlier.
Oh no, dramas for the 25 car. Is this going to be the safety car we're looking for?
Well, we've talked about it. We haven't had one yet. And wouldn't that be the irony of having in the final hour of the 6 hour race?
Yeah, as we come to a conclusion, it looks like they're going to clear this car under local yellows. We saw them have a very long stop before, and they just got back out of pit lane, but the car went no further than pit exit. And it looks to me like they're going to clear this one under the local yellow. So we're still going to go safety car free as the 77 car completes what will be its final pit stop.
Just had word come through. It sounds like it was an electrical issue there, Rich.
Wait, this is for position, Dave. For position, 4th place, right towards the very end. Peter O'Donnell's been wrapped up by Matt Cherry in the second of the West cars from TMR, and that's for position. So this car has been up and down the leaderboard like a bit of a yo-yo today, but right towards the end of the race, Matt Cherry has got that car back inside the top 4, and that means it's Mitsubishi's 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. The first non-Mitsubishi car is a BMW, and it's in 5th place, and this looks like another tyre for the Delsma Neville car. Would you believe it?
Now, they said they had something in that right rear wheel well they weren't terribly happy with, and we've been calculating. It's been running about an hour and 15 in between tyre changes, and with around, what do we got, about 15 minutes to go in the race? Yeah. Here's another one.
Wow, what a day. What terrible. An absolutely wretched day for this combination. They keep battling on. I think they said before this is their last tyre as well. So they'll have to bolt an old tyre on just to get it to the finish. Quick fuel stop here for 38 just to top off and to get to the flag. Another team after a very tough day today.
Yeah, it's the old splash and dash, isn't it? You just need to do it with only a little bit of a hurry up to get yourself back out on track. Bit of a pop there as they get the accelerator sitting right on the rev limit, or what?
Oh, and it's done some damage to the guard, and that's the risky run driving back on a delaminated tyre, front or rear.
You're doing the right thing now, just getting it on the grass too.
As we go back on board with Peter O'Donnell, nice and relaxed, running in a solid 5th place now. They've done their job today. Not quite the outright speed they were looking for, but it's been a very consistent run. Peter O'Donnell and the great John Bowe, the winner of the 1995 12-hour at this track with his old boss and mate Dick Johnson in a Mazda RX-7 SP, the last real long Australian production car style endurance race here at Eastern Creek Raceway. This is the new Dial Before You Dig Australian 6-hour, and a strong field, lots of drivers, interesting motor race, and I think it's got a great future to come in the Australian motorsport landscape.
Having got the team changing this tyre again, and you'd be imagining tomorrow morning just about everybody will have a sore neck. Why? From shaking their head in absolute disbelief.
Not wrong. What a day it's been. We've got plenty of TV time though. Century 21 will be happy. Chris Delsma will be happy with that. He's the Century 21 realtor up there in the Blue Mountains on the way to Bathurst. So he's got plenty of exposure, and he'll front up at Eastern Creek in September for the next Shannon's Nationals round here, when he and Dean Neville return in the Shannon's V8 Touring Car Series. Now, this is a leader of Class C making a last pit stop in the race. This could have class leading connotations to it, Dave.
Yeah, it certainly will. Unfortunate timing for them to come in. No doubt it'll be a bit of a fuel stop, and that's just absolutely terrible.
Well, unreal, isn't it? Right to the very end of a 6-hour endurance race, and the class lead will change. But what a comeback for the Camilleri team. A broken gear shifter halfway through the race. They went a lap down. They've worked their way back up, and with just a few laps to go, they're going to come through and win Class C, barring misfortune in these last few minutes. Now, this is dramas for the 97 car. They've gone to pit lane. They can't get the car fired up. Now, this is also for class implications. Third in Class D will change. If they stay in pit lane much longer, the Lauren Gray Motorsport crew will come through and they will take third in their class.
Well, we talked how well that car's been going. Here's another attempt to try and jump-start it, and unfortunately, just not enough oomph in that clutch to get it up and running.
And of course, they're trying to do that in the garage because you cannot push-start a car in the pit lane.
No.
Because that will return you with a drive-through penalty.
And there's been a few of them.
Oh, and such frustration. What a great job they've done. But they are stuck in pit lane, and that will put the Lauren Gray Motorsport crew into third place after a great day. Well, speaking of great days, this has been a day of perfection for TMR Australia. Not only are they going to finish 1-2, they're going to win it by almost 3 laps. Stuart Costera and Warren Luff team up, and they win the first Dial Before You Dig 6-hour at Eastern Creek Raceway.
There's Warren Luff congratulating his teammate as he goes past. Very, very happy team there. Everyone should be absolutely delighted, I think, with the sheer economy of how this car has just gone around and done so well overall in the 6 hours.
And they minimised their dramas in pit lane. They had no penalties. They were fast. They were reliable. They were consistent all day long. Here's our Class C winner, the high-performance front-wheel drive class. A comeback drive to be remembered for Scott Nicholas and Jake Camilleri, the Grand Prix Mazda crew. They'll get 10th outright and win their class. And this will be our Class B winner. Coming through, Peter O'Donnell and John Bowe, and they'll be 5th outright.
Yeah, not a bad result overall. Aiming for a top 5 finish, they certainly achieved it.
Great run. They win the high-performance rear-wheel drive class. Gary Holt and Ryan McLeod will win Class D. And the Walls, the father and son combination, got to the finish after a day of high drama for the Allen East Motorsport squad. Here are the results. The Dial Before You Dig Australian 6 hour. Inky Tulloch and Jones were next in second place. Conroy and Brame, great podium finish in the Hankook Evo in third place. Crimp and Cherry fourth, and O'Donnell and Bow, the first of the non-Mitsubishis, home in fifth place. Down through the order, McLeod and Holt won their class in Class D. Camilleri and Nicholas won Class C in the Mazda 3 MPS. Conroy, Morg and Hayes got home in 13th. Graham Williams in 14th, third in Class D. And down to some of the cars that had more dramas than others. Let's go down to our happy winners. Here's Fletch with Stuart Costera and Warren Luff.
First outright, have a go at these two. Hey, Warren, how do you feel, mate?
Yeah, look, it's fantastic. Obviously, full credit to the guys from TMR. They've done a brilliant job. They gave us a car that was going to be quick, and we always knew that we were going to have good pace, but to be able to run the speed that we didn't be able to win by the margin we did, it's full credit to them.
Absolutely. And Mr. Costera, how are you feeling right now?
Good. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It was an enjoyable race. Couldn't have asked for it to be any better, really. Okay.
Well, pardon the pun, but both of you held your own all day.
Yeah, look, obviously Stu did a great job at the start, and we're just able to sort of build on that lead, and as I said, come away with a sort of 2.5 lap lead at the end of the day is a big achievement, but full credit goes to the guys at TMR.
The Mitsubishi just ran so strong all day, didn't it?
It did. I mean, after Bathurst, you know, we had a few dramas there with, a number of issues, but since then the car's just been faultless, just unbelievable.
Inky, tremendous performance, mate. Second outright, well done.
Yeah, no, everything went pretty good. The car ran well. We had a pretty good strategy, and Stevie did a great job too, so we just weren't quite good enough to nail those Luffy and co, but it might be another day, you never know.
Mate, there's nothing wrong with second. Steve, you've been a big part of this too, mate. What's your thoughts on the day?
Oh, look, I mean, the car went very well. Inky was the fast man on the day, but I just went out there with my strategy to keep the car together, keep the tyres in a strong position, so when we needed to attack, we could. We couldn't catch a car number one, but we're all on the same team. Those boys did very well, and as I said, you know, the boys at TMR have done a good job.
Congratulations, mate. Third outright. How do you feel?
Oh, fantastic, actually. Big day. Fantastic preparation by Jeff Forshaw. The car ran faultlessly from a minute go, and a little bit down on car speed, but we know where to find it, and we'll be back with it next time.
Some good accolades. What are your thoughts, Mark?
Yeah, no, it was a great day, great team effort. We had a strategy, stuck to the strategy, and the strategy worked out. We looked after our tyres and drove the thing straight most of the day, and thanks to Pete for inviting me along to the drive, and it was a great day.
A great podium for the Hankook Tyres team, but our winners, Stuart Costera and Warren Luff, they collect a very nice trophy from the Grand Marshal, Colin Bond, an icon of Australian motorsport, and they have the spoils from the Dial Before You Dig 6 hour. Manufacturers Championship closes up too. Gary Holt leads it, but Camilleri and Costera both had good days. The battle is well and truly on as we look towards round 5. Well, on behalf of Dave Knoll and Marcus Sakanovic, I'm Richard Craft. That's all from the commentary box. It's been an exciting Dial Before You Dig Australian 6 hour here at Eastern Creek.
Well, there's not much time to recuperate from this epic 6-hour enduro. The Australian Manufacturers Championship joined in the Formula 3, the Porsches, the V8 touring cars, the sports sedans and the saloon cars, all heading to Morgan Park on August 14 and 15. For more information, head to thenationals.com.au. But for now, thanks for your company and we'll see you next time.
Blow your mind. This is just what's supposed to